The Midnight Vendor. So, it was the summer of 1997 when Jake first encountered the unsettling ice cream truck. Jake was a young teenager living in a quiet suburban neighborhood, and like many kids his age, he looked forward to the ice cream truck's arrival on hot summer days. The cheerful jingle that announced the truck's presence was a welcome sound, signaling that sweet relief was just a few moments away. One particularly sweltering evening, as Jake was finishing up his chores, he heard the familiar melody of the ice cream truck approaching. He rushed outside, eager to cool down with a cold treat. However, as he made his way to the street, he noticed something strange. The truck didn't look like the usual one that frequented the neighborhood. It was an older model, its paint faded and peeling, and the jingle it played was not the usual cheerful tune, but a hauntingly discordant melody. The truck stopped in front of Jake's house, and a man with a gaunt face and a disheveled uniform emerged. He had a vacant expression, and his movements were unnervingly slow. Despite the man's odd demeanor, Jake approached the truck, hoping to get a simple vanilla cone. As he neared, a man handed him an ice cream that looked slightly off, its color a strange, unnatural hue. Jake hesitated but took the ice cream, figuring he might as well enjoy it. He watched as the truck slowly drove away, its eerie jingle lingering in the air. As Jake took a bite, he was immediately struck by an unusual, almost metallic taste. He shrugged it off and continued eating, though he felt a strange unease. That night, Jake experienced a series of unsettling dreams. In his dreams, the ice cream truck reappeared, driving through a desolate landscape. The driver's face was obscured, but the sense of dread was palpable. The truck seemed to follow him wherever he went, its jingle echoing through the darkness. When Jake woke up, he was disturbed but dismissed the dreams as just a result of his overactive imagination. The next day, he noticed that the ice cream he had eaten the previous night had left a strange residue on his tongue, a metallic aftertaste that wouldn't go away. He tried to ignore it and went about his day, but the feeling of unease lingered. As the days passed, Jake noticed that the ice cream truck had returned several times, always at odd hours and playing the same unsettling jingle. Each time, the driver's appearance became more disheveled, and the truck seemed to deteriorate further. The ice cream itself was always the same unnatural color and taste. Jake's curiosity turned to concern, and he decided to investigate. He began asking neighbors if they had seen the truck and if they had experienced anything unusual. To his surprise, several neighbors reported similar experiences, strange dreams, odd tastes, and an inexplicable sense of dread. Determined to get to the bottom of it, Jake decided to follow the truck one night. He waited until it made its rounds and then trailed behind it at a safe distance. The truck drove to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. Jake watched from a hidden vantage point as the truck parked and the driver disappeared inside. Jake's curiosity got the better of him. He ventured closer to the warehouse. The building was dark and decrepit, its windows boarded up. He peered through a crack in the boards and saw the ice cream truck driver inside, engaged in a sinister-looking ritual. Strange symbols were drawn on the floor, and the driver was chanting in a language Jake didn't recognize. Terrified, Jake fled the scene and went straight to the police. He told them about the ice cream truck, the strange driver, and what he had seen at the warehouse. The officers were skeptical but agreed to investigate. They found the warehouse empty, and the ice cream truck was nowhere to be found. The next day, the truck was reported missing, and the driver was never found. The case went cold, and the unsettling events were eventually forgotten. Jake never saw the ice cream truck again, but the memory of that summer haunted him for years. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had narrowly escaped something truly horrifying. The haunting of Mr. Scoop. Samantha was a college student spending her summer working part-time at a local cafe. One evening, as she was walking home from work, she heard the familiar jingle of an ice cream truck. The sound was a welcome distraction from the monotony of her job, so she decided to treat herself. The truck was different from the usual ones that patrolled the neighborhood. It was old and worn, with faded paint and a dingy appearance. The jingle it played was a distorted version of the classic tune, sending a shiver down Samantha's spine. Despite her initial hesitation, she approached the truck and ordered a sundae. The driver, an older man with an unsettling grin, handed her the sundae in silence. Samantha noticed that the man's eyes seemed to hold a hint of something disturbing, but she brushed it off as just an overactive imagination. She took her ice cream and walked home, eager to enjoy the treat. As she ate the sundae, Samantha noticed that the ice cream tasted unusually sour, with an unpleasant aftertaste that she couldn't quite place. The odd flavor made her feel uneasy, but she finished it anyway. That night, she experienced a series of disturbing nightmares. In her dreams, she saw the ice cream truck driving through a foggy, desolate landscape with eerie figures watching from the shadows. The following day, Samantha noticed that the jingle of the ice cream truck seemed to follow her even though she hadn't heard it since the previous night. She tried to ignore it and went about her day, but the sense of being followed persisted. Her friends noticed that she seemed on edge and asked her about it, but she only mentioned feeling slightly unsettled. A week later, the ice cream truck reappeared in the neighborhood. Samantha saw it parked down the street and, despite her reservations, decided to investigate. She approached the truck and found that the driver was the same man from before. This time, he didn't offer her a menu or speak a word. He simply stared at her with that unnerving grin. Samantha felt a chill run down her spine and decided not to purchase anything. Instead, she observed from a distance as other neighborhood kids approached the truck. Each time, the interaction seemed strangely ritualistic, with the driver handing out ice cream in silence and the children accepting it with blank expressions. Her concern, Samantha began asking around and discovered that several other people had experienced similar unsettling encounters with the truck. Some reported feeling an inexplicable sense of dread after eating the ice cream, while others mentioned hearing eerie whispers coming from the truck. Determined to uncover the truth, Samantha decided to follow the truck one night after it left the neighborhood. The truck's route was erratic, and it eventually stopped at an abandoned amusement park on the outskirts of town. Samantha watched from behind a nearby building as the driver got out and opened the back of the truck. Inside, Samantha saw strange, occult symbols drawn on the walls of the truck's interior. The driver was performing a bizarre ritual, pouring the ice cream into a large cauldron and stirring it while chanting in a language Samantha didn't recognize. The atmosphere was charged with a malevolent energy that sent shivers down her spine. Samantha realized that the ice cream was likely part of some dark, supernatural practice. She decided to get help and went straight to the police, describing what she had seen. The officers were skeptical, but agreed to investigate the abandoned amusement park. When they arrived, the truck was gone, and the amusement park was empty. The police found no evidence of the ritual or any signs of the ice cream truck. They questioned Samantha, but without concrete evidence, there was little they could do. The ice cream truck never returned to the neighborhood, and Samantha's disturbing experiences faded into memory. However, the unsettling events left a lasting impact on her. She couldn't shake the feeling that something sinister had been happening right under her nose, and she often wondered if she had narrowly escaped a much darker fate. Samantha's once innocent love for ice cream was forever tainted by the eerie encounter, the memory of the haunting jingle, and the chilling presence of me. A scoop lingered, a constant reminder of the unsettling experience that had forever changed her perception of the seemingly harmless ice cream truck.